This video contains spoilers for the ending of the Quintessential Quintuplets manga. You've been warned. Yotsuba Nakano, the fourth-born quintuplet, the bubbly Genki girl, the orange-haired beauty, the misunderstood. This is my video on why I think Fuutaro chose the right quintuplet and a small analysis of Yotsuba's character. I made a thread about this a while ago, on Twitter. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Let's start with the hints that Yotsuba was going to be the bride whether you like it or not. Stop letting your bias get in the way and saying that she didn't deserve to win just because she isn't your best girl. That's called self-inserting. Fuutaro doesn't have to choose one of the girls just because they're your favorite. It's not about your favorite or you. He has his own likes and dislikes. Now, some hints I would like to show you are the obvious ones, like Yotsuba wanting to make Reiha her sister, and talking about marrying Fuutaro, but it was overlooked, because she is a comedic relief character and it was disguised as just a funny gag. This other picture is also obvious. You see Reiha here with the bride, and honestly, it could only be Itsuki or Yotsuba because she was closest with those two, plus, they both spoiled Reiha a lot. She wasn't that close with Ichika, Miku or Nino. I think these two are self-explanatory, though the one of the left was overlooked of course. When Fuutaro was kissed by one of the quints, it was revealed to be Yotsuba at the end, but of course at the time she was disguised as Itsuki. Fuutaro says when the kiss happened, he started thinking she was special. Would just like to throw these in here. They're very good explanations. People who read or watch QQ really do just pick their favorite girl and ignore the moments with other girls and expect their favorite to win just because she is their fave. That's not how these stories work. The pulling the ribbon and immediately fixing it was the cutest thing too, but yes, Fuutaro is a tsundere and he does bully Yotsuba a lot in a tsundere-ish way, plus he is very touchy with her unlike the other girls. Nino and Miku were very pushy with him and straightforward, which made him uncomfortable most of the time. Ichika was out of the race after the whole Miku thing, so her chance was long gone. Nino wouldn't have ever been his choice, though Miku could have had a chance. Miku's love for Fuutaro was crucial for her development. It helped her develop as a character and helped her realize her dream of what she wanted to do in the future, and so, her arc was complete and didn't need to win. Same with Nino, her love for Fuutaro helped her grow, but she also didn't need to win because she already gained the character development and followed through with her dream of opening her own restaurant. Upon rereading the manga twice, it was obvious to see that while Itsuki did have moments with Fuutaro, she was never actually in love with him. Plus, she was the only quint that never kissed him either. She was more worried about becoming a teacher and the Rina thing. The whole thing that happened that hinted she was in love with him at the end is a little intriguing though. Let's not forget that Yotsuba is the most selfless quint. She was willing to sacrifice her own happiness for her sister's happiness and support them in their battle for the man they loved, even if Yotsuba herself loved him. She felt she owed it to them for constantly failing her exams and her sisters transferring schools with her because they didn't want her to be alone. She felt like the burden of the group and felt guilty, though she wanted to be the one to be the example, like she tells Fuutaro when she first met him. This moment is crucial because it meant a lot to Yotsuba even though he didn't know she was Rina. He told her if she kept going and studying hard, she could lead her sisters just as she wanted. Fuutaro didn't know how much that meant to her. She smiles, remembering. Even though she felt she was dragging her sisters down, which meant she didn't deserve happiness, she was still selfless to the end. Even representing them all through the accessories she wore as a bride when she married Fuutaro. She was the first one to believe in Fuutaro and wanted to study. She wanted her sisters to join them too in studying so that they could all grow and get better together. She was always trying to bring everyone together. Fuutaro could always confide in her and talk to her. She was by his side from the start, referring to when she first met him 6 years ago. That would not be any, especially Nino, since they didn't want to study at the beginning apart from Yotsuba. She was also by his side from the start when they met again after the 6 years. Even after Fuutaro confessed to her, she still thought about her sisters first and wanted their blessings for them to be together at least before just going out with him, before considering their feelings and broken hearts. Again with the whole Rina thing, she was the first one he met and she was his first love. He just didn't know which of the quintuplets it was. Not wanting to be special, Yotsuba gave her sisters a chance by telling Itsuki to pretend to be Rina, the one he met, and saying goodbye. Fuutaro talks about not wanting to deny Yotsuba's efforts to study and work hard even though she sucked at studying and wasn't that smart. He still knew she was trying her best. As much as I love Miku, I don't think she deserved to win. Really, people only wanted her to win because she was a shy cute girl. That seems about it. Like the screenshot says, she didn't really do much for Fuutaro, though she did some things. Yotsuba at this moment was heartbroken because she felt she would be his last choice and still, as much as she loved him, wanted his sisters to be happy instead. She is super selfless and thoughtful and had a huge burden on her shoulders. She definitely deserved the win. Some of Neji's quotes from the Yotsuba character book. Interviewer: behind the lively demeanor, Yotsuba has a deep connection with Fuutaro. Was that the case since then? Herbal-sensei: the girl Fuutaro met in the past actually being Yotsuba was decided from the start. Actually, it was changed because of Yotsuba's Genki character. At the time, I received a comment from the editorial department saying she seems like the protagonist's friend, so she doesn't look like the main heroine. Therefore, the heroine's role changed to a person who opposes Fuutaro, and at the same time Yotsuba was exchanged for Itsuki. Because Yotsuba is a Genki-like character, her approval of Fuutaro looks maxed from the beginning, so expectations of her later on conquest lowering because she didn't look like the heroine. Yes. I thought until I showed Yotsuba's darkness like that she wouldn't be popular as a heroine, but, surprisingly, she ended up even taking second place in the first character popularity poll, Volume 7. So at that time, I had a luxurious problem, saying, I don't want Yotsuba to stand out too much before her darkness is shown. It seems the chapters focused on Yotsuba in the early part of the series made a strong impression. Early in the series I intentionally didn't give Yotsuba long arcs and her shorter episodes were placed in the intervals between the other heroines' arcs. Nevertheless, the fake confession had a huge response from the readers. It was really fun to draw for myself as well. I think it was the first chapter in which Yotsuba's unpredictability appeared. That was like a sign, going forward, that the readers wanted to see times when Yotsuba's darkness slipped in and out of view. Yotsuba called it a date because she was in high spirits that she could go out with Fuutaro, but, in the bottom of her heart, she didn't consider it a date. Due to the events of the past, Yotsuba feels that compared to me, everyone else's happiness is more important. So she doesn't think it's a date, but rather a way to make Fuutaro happy. Fuutaro himself doesn't consider it a date either. It's his way of expressing his gratitude for how she took the initiative in studying and for her aid in the field trip. Otherwise, like how he refused Ichika and Miku's date invitations, he wouldn't budge for her either. I suppose it's atonement for causing her sisters trouble in middle school and making them follow her in transferring schools. If you look at Yotsuba, she can never forgive herself for the time between her mother's death and the school transfer. That's why she thinks she has to make up for it, yet her sisters don't think they need such a thing. So maybe the day will come eventually when the sisters talk about this. Just like she takes care of others, Yotsuba keeps houseplants in her room, because the wish to help people and the act of watering plants are connected. Worrying about Ichika and asking, aren't you pushing yourself? Volume 8 Chapter 66, when Yotsuba's having such thoughts increases the weight of her words. Herbal-sensei, there aren't many scenes where Yotsuba influences characters other than Fuutaro. End of the character book interview quotes. Yotsuba's ending is the ending in which everyone gets to be happy because Miku and Nino realize their dream of opening a restaurant together, not to mention their love for Fuu being part of their development and making them happier, but also Itsuki became a teacher like she wanted, Ichika became an actress like she wanted, and all of them had their dreams come true. All of them too, apart from Mitsuki, had their love for Fuutaro as a crucial part in realizing their dreams and becoming truly happy. Yotsuba would never have been truly happy otherwise, being left out and never having that development where she not only finally is able to pass her exams, but she also finally realizes that it's okay for her to be special and it's okay for her to be happy, and she isn't a burden to her sisters and she isn't dragging them down. Baffles me that some QQ fans really tried to deny it was Yotsuba that kissed Fuutaro as the disguised Itsuki, when Yotsuba is the only one who calls him Usuji-san, and also this part is followed up by this part when Yotsuba throws her ribbon away, because like Itsuki said, he would be able to tell the difference, and when the kiss happened, he also knew that it wasn't the real Itsuki either. Also, even if it was a dream, who said he wouldn't choose Yotsuba again? Yotsuba's ending is the ending in which everyone is happy, but you all overlook that because your fave didn't win. Also, I don't think it was a dream because this chapter came after the supposed dream where on the honeymoon, they ask the bride what Fuutaro is like, and Yotsuba, whom is still the bride, says that he is annoying. People talk about why Yotsuba is even part of the story or quints because she doesn't get much shine, mainly in the anime. But that exactly was one of her worries and insecurities. Feeling like she was not needed and the unnecessary quintuplet. Just as Fuutaro felt like he didn't get much shine and felt his friends would be better without him and that he was unnecessary. Yotsuba and Fuutaro have a lot more deeper things in common than people think. This is why she wanted to instead become the special one. The one that stood out. She wanted to become the example for her sisters, as she told Fuutaro when she met him in Kyoto, and they made that promise to study hard and become better people who were needed. Fuutaro in present talks about becoming someone who is needed. This is due to his promise to Yotsuba. He studied hard and became a tutor, thus, he was needed. Yotsuba tried to study but wasn't smart enough, and instead of leading her sisters, made them stay back with her. And so ends my video on Yotsuba Nakano and the ending of the quintessential quintuplets. I hope you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments of this video. Until next time. P.S. Sorry for any typos or the wrong pronunciation of things. Text-to-speech doesn't pronounce everything properly after all.